Okay, you can start now, whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the February 24th, 2022 meeting of the CB6 Business Affairs and Licensing Committee. My name is Claire Brennan and I am the chair of this committee. This meeting is called to order at 6:32 p.m. Tonight, we are joined by Community Associate Alex Crawford and District Manager Jesus Perez. Members of the public, you can raise any questions or comments that you have through the Q&A feature of Zoom. If there is time following the committee's discussion, we will field questions from the public. Jeannie has volunteered to take minutes tonight. Thank you, Jeannie. You all should have received an email from the board office with a link to a Doodle sign-up sheet. If you haven't signed up, Alex just put it back in the chat, so please do so as soon as you can. Thank you. We will now take attendance by roll call, and Alexandra will conduct the roll call.
Committee members, I will call your name and you will unmute yourselves. When your name is called, please say present. I will announce if there is quorum. Claire Brennan.
Present.
Charles Fernandez.
Present.
Paige Judge. Paige Judge. Anton Malner.
Present.
Seema Shah.
Present.
Susan Steinberg.
Present.
Michael Devereaux. Michael Devereaux.
Oh, sorry. He actually emailed me and said that he can't make it.
Okay.
Nice.
Dan Devine.
Present.
Jeannie D'Onofrio.
Present.
John Keller.
Present.
And Kevin O'Keefe.
Present.
We have quorum.
Excellent. Thank you so much. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and appears before us on the screen. If there's no objections, we will adopt the agenda as stated. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand through Zoom. I'll give you a second to do that. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. Now we have to adopt the minutes from last month. So they were distributed to you all ahead of time. If there is no objection to the minutes, we will adopt them as drafted. Please raise your hand through Zoom if you object to adopting these minutes. I don't see any objections, so the minutes from the January 27th committee meeting are adopted and will soon be available on the website. Now, we're all pretty used to the ground rules, but in order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe the ground rules that we're all used to by now. No one may speak until granted the floor. Committee members, if you have a question about committee business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. The chat function should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us of any technical difficulties that you might be having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. When a committee member is given the floor to speak, I will identify you and you can unmute yourself so that you can speak. We are required by the New York State law to have a transcript of the meeting, so please keep your questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. Now, without further ado, we can get started on the agenda, but Susan, sorry.
I just wondered who Zoom user was.
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Beat me to it.
Excuse me. I don't know. Is that Sandy maybe? Jesus, were you going to say something?
Well, I guess the person who has logged on to Zoom as a panelist, so they must have gotten this invite somehow, and is currently listed as Zoom user. Could you please identify yourself for the record?
I'm assuming it's me. My name is Ellen, representing, working at ABC license, representing Rojava. This was sent to us, emailed to us, and I just clicked. Maybe.
No worries. No, sorry, Ellen. It's actually not you. You're coming up. Your name is on.
Okay.
Yeah, Ms. Lee, we see you. We see your camera. There's another person that seems to be logged on under Zoom user.
Oh, okay.
Right, they don't seem to be identifying themselves.
Yeah,
Well-
I'm not, yeah, they must be somebody that received a panelist invite, but all the people I sent panelist invites to.
Is it me? Is it Dan Devine? I can't
No.
tell what I'm logged. Okay.
No, here's what we can do. I mean, it is a public meeting, so it's not like anyone's lurking necessarily. What I will do is I'll look into the back end and see how, if I can find out from there who this person is. And if not, if they're associated with one of the applications, they will soon make themselves known because they'll have to identify themselves for the record then. And then we can update their username. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Can somebody
Yes.
hear me?
We can hear you.
All right. So
Uh,
would you like to proceed?
thank you.
Go.
This is Richard Dean. Can you hear me?
So we'll go to the first item on the agenda, which is the water club. So if representatives from the water club are here, please unmute yourself.
Kevin Grath.
Hi, Kevin. Thank
Hi.
you for joining us.
Richard Dean.
And Richard, thank you both.
I'm having a little difficulty getting on the computer, but I'm on the phone.
Okay,
All right.
we can hear you and you can hear us, so no issues with not being on a computer. So I just want to provide a little context for you that I'm not sure you're aware of, maybe you are, but it's listed on the agenda as a renewal, and you also were listed on the agenda for last month as a renewal. And since you did not show, we actually passed as a committee, and then it went to full board, an objection to your renewal. But we're really happy to have you here tonight to kind of clarify some questions that we had that were outstanding. And a piece of our resolution that we passed last month did say that should you all show up in the future, which is what you're doing right now, thank you again, we would follow up with the SLA and kind of write an additional letter, potentially of support, should the committee come to that conclusion at the end of our conversation. But I just wanted to make that clear that we as a committee have already submitted a resolution of objection to your renewal. But again, we're appreciative that you're here tonight to kind of walk us through your current operations and your application for the renewal as well. So I'll let you all take it from here in terms of just orienting us to your application for renewal, and maybe just explain why you missed the meeting last month.
All right, this is Kevin McGrath. I'm the attorney. Richard Dean is with us as well. He's the controller. I apologize for not being at the last meeting. I didn't know about the meeting, so it wasn't an intentional not attending. All right, we are making this application for a renewal, as you know, or if you don't know, we had to close because of the pandemic. And we are working to get a staff back in. And that's why this application is being made to have an OP license at the premises. I think at the last meeting, there were some questions raised, and hopefully I'll be able to answer any and all of your questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I guess the first question that I have is, I see that you did submit your questionnaire to our office. And on it, you say that the hours of operation are from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. Is that a daily occurrence? I pass by the water club often, and I haven't seen you all being in operation the majority of the time that I pass by. So I'm just
My opening statements is that we're not open because we had to close because of the pandemic. First of all, we had people who were sick. We have a big staff. And so once we had somebody who was sick, we had to quarantine. And second of all, there wasn't a big demand for a restaurant of this size during the pandemic. So we are working to reopen, and that's why this application for the renewal is presently before you.
I understand. What are the hours of operation that you're proposing for your renewal, and days of the week as well?
Well, we would be operating 7 days a week, and we would want 2 o'clock. I don't know. I didn't prepare this. So Richard, I believe it's 2 o'clock. It's not every day. We're not a late night venue, but there are some nights that we do stay open till 12. We don't normally do not stay open till 4 o'clock, and we're not asking for 4 o'clock.
Okay, so on your questionnaire, it says 10 a.m. to midnight, and it doesn't specify what days of the week you're opening. You would like to be open for those times. So are you saying that it's 10 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week?
I'm looking at the notice. I'm sorry, Alexandra, I'm trying to follow with you. All right, yes, we would want to be open 7 days a week with an OP license. Okay, I'm now looking at the retail application that was submitted.
Okay, I guess it doesn't really matter what the papers that you have say. What I'm looking at, what you all submitted, it doesn't have the dates, but what I'm hearing is that you want that 10 a.m. to midnight to be 7 days a week, and that's your intention as soon as you can get staff back to be open during those hours.
We would want 2 o'clock, not on Sunday and not on Monday or Tuesday, but we would want Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and Saturday to have the possibility of 2 o'clock. But as you know, our history is that we're not a late night venue, but there might be occasions where we would want to stay open to that hour and not be in violation.
Okay, thank you for that. So in terms of the music that you all play, you're saying pre-recorded and also live music. I know that you all are kind of in a waterfront space that's not really surrounded by residential buildings, but is that like an amplified live performance, or is it all acoustic?
It's dance music. It's a restaurant. It's a dance music. It would be like if we had a special party or a wedding or something, there would be a band, but we're not looking for concerts. We're looking for restaurant background music.
Okay. Thank you. I'll open it up at this point to any members of the committee who have questions for Kevin. Kevin.
I'm Kevin. Is there someone else whose name
There's
is Kevin?
another Kevin. Sorry for the.
This is Kevin O'Keefe, no relation to Buzzy.
Kevin.
I apologize, this is just a bit off topic, but I did see there was media coverage in December about a proposal for there to be a casino. I guess there was a proposal that the Water Club had submitted to the State Gaming Commission. Is there any update that you can provide on that? And would that change the potential hours that we're talking about?
All right. First of all, if
I also just want to say that that's like not really the agenda topic for tonight's discussion. I'll let you answer the question, Kevin, but other Kevin.
We would-
We were talking about hours, and I was just wondering if that would somehow change the hours in the future.
well, Kevin O'Keefe, I'll try to answer as succinctly as possible. First of all, this was a defensive mechanism to file because there was word that there were going to be 3 in New York City. We were not looking for a casino as known in the state. We were only applying for table, sort of like the ones in Monaco. No slot machines, nothing like that. But in any event, if it were granted, we would have to come back to you because it would be a different license. So we could never agree with the state without coming back to you because it would be a different license.
Thank you for that clarification. I see Sandy, who chairs our Land Use and Waterfront Committee and is joining the meeting tonight to ask a few follow-up questions as well. Sandy.
And my apologies, I was having technical difficulties and didn't hear the first part of your presentation, but I did wonder if the Water Club is open to the public. Can anyone attend or go to the restaurant?
Right. Once we open as an OP license, Sandy, an OP license is required to have anyone who appears who's not, drunk or disorderly. We have to let them in. That's what the license requires. So it's open to the public, as opposed to others which are not open to the public. But this, what we're applying for, requires us to be open to the public.
And I gather your previous license was different then, because I don't think it was open to the public previously.
No, it was, to my knowledge, and I've known this venue for many, many years, it had a bar. You could go in. If you wanted to have a drink, you could have a drink. If you wanted to have dinner, you just walked in, and if there were seats at tables, you were given seats. No, it was always an on-premises license, which requires the operator to be non-exclusive.
And I don't know, we've heard that that was not the case previously, but it will be open to the public any hours that you are open from now on.
Yes. If we are granted this renewal of the license, the license is an OP license, on premises liquor license, open to the public.
Okay, thank you. And if you don't, I'm sorry, what hours are you going to be open?
I'm sorry.
I know you stated this, and my apologies, I came late. I just wondered what your opening hours were.
Well, we were just talking about that. On Sunday, we would want only to 12 o'clock, and on Monday to 12 o'clock, and the rest of the week till 2 o'clock. Not in no event are we asking for 4 o'clock.
And what time do you open?
We open about 10 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully we'll have some lunch and crowd, but normally we don't. It's a very light, it's a destination venue. So, we don't get very many people just walking by and stopping in for a sandwich.
Thank you. And one other question, will you still have the valet parking?
Yes, we will.
Thank you.
Hello?
Thank you, Sandy.
This is the wrong number. I'm sorry.
Are there any other questions for Kevin, who seems to?
I'm sorry, I just got a telephone call. I'm in my office. I apologize for the interruption.
Are there any other questions from the committee for Kevin? I'll also open it up to the public. If any of the 2 people from the public who are here have a question, you can raise your hand through Zoom and we can pass over the mic. Okay, I don't see any more questions from anyone. Thank you, Kevin, for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Apologize. And if anyone has any additional questions, I believe the chair has my telephone number, and I've given him my my personal number as well as my office number. But the best way to reach me is through this the 646 number.
Okay.
646-8228.
Thank you. I'll also open it up to any motions. We don't have to, we already kind of acted on this renewal request last month. There is an opportunity to write something.
I'd respect.
Come to our meeting. But
I'd respectfully request that you notify the state liquor authority if you don't have any objections. Matter of fact, I did not receive a copy of your objection letter, but after we've had this discussion, I don't know whether there's any objection that you would have for this renewal.
Kevin?
I would suggest that if we do a support this application, that we consider Sandy's point about making sure that all hours will be open to the general public.
That's fine. That's fine. And it's required. But if you wish to advise the State Liquor Authority, we have no objection to that at all.
Thank you, Kevin.
I second Kevin's amendment.
Thank you, Paige. I will also add that a requirement of our office is to have, as you said, Kevin, thank you for sharing your contact information with the board. office. We also ask all of our applicants to post signage where that states a phone number of like the on-premises manager or a contact who can get in touch with them should anything arise in the future. You know, perhaps someone wants to enjoy a nice brunch on the East River and goes to your establishment and sees that you're actually not open during those hours. It would be helpful to have someone to contact in order to see what the issue was in that instance. So in addition to making that statement, I would request that you all post a sign where a manager can be contacted.
Once we don't, you know, we don't anticipate being open tomorrow, but we, as you all know, getting a working staff in, and we have specialties. The chefs all have specialties, and it's very, very difficult to get them. So that's what we're working on, and hopefully we'll get a qualified staff, which will be able to run a restaurant that we would want to have.
Right. Susan has had her hand up.
Yeah, I just have a question about process. So if we vote for a motion of no objection, do we have to have some kind of stipulation in there about having had a prior motion of objection, or do we just send a letter with it to the SLA? How does that work?
That's a good question. I think the board might be able to answer this more, but I think that it's just kind of like a letter updating the SLA. Is that right, Jesus?
What you should do, since the resolution already passed, so it's official policy of the board, if a motion is made, and just to be clear, a motion was not made earlier, that was just a suggestion. If a motion is ultimately made and a resolution of no objection is passed, it would be wise to have one of the resolved clauses be, you know, resolved that the resolution passed, you know, last month, blah, 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 is rescinded or overridden by this one.
That
I
makes sense.
propose a favorable, a non-objectable resolution stating the facts that Jesus had said.
Thanks, Paige. Someone would have to second it in order for us to move forward, but
Yeah, I'll second that. They've addressed the issues, I think, that we raised, especially around the casino and other things. So, and everybody's having a hard time.
agreed. Okay, thank you. John seconded that. So the motion is to resolve to have no objection to the renewal of the water club with the stipulations that we mentioned previously, and I have them written down. So since it's a short agenda, and I think we should do a roll call vote, if that's okay with you, Alexandra.
Claire,
Yeah.
Claire, given that there are some moving parts, a few moving parts to this resolution, it might be wise to restate what those stipulations are, especially if they're going to be going in the resolved clauses, just so that everybody's clear. For the record, it might be good to read those out.
Okay, no worries. So I guess we clarified the timing. So it's 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. on Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays.
No, Sunday and Monday.
Okay, just Sunday and Monday. And then, excuse me, 2 a.m. starts on Tuesday through Saturday. And again, that's a 10 a.m. open time. And that is, an acknowledgement that the water club will be open to the public during those hours. they'll post a sign with contact information for the public to reach out if there are any issues. And then this will be passed in place of the resolution that we passed last month, which was a resolution of objection. That's what I had. Did I miss anything? Anyone? You could raise your hand or speak.
Nope, that sounds complete. That sounds like what I've heard before. So that is the motion. And now Alex may proceed with the roll call now that everyone is clear on what the motion is.
Thank you.
Okay, committee members, I'm going to go through the roll call and please tell me how you vote on the resolution. Claire Brennan,
In favor.
Charles Fernandez,
In favor.
Paige Judge,
In favor.
Anton Malner,
In favor.
Seema Shah,
In favor.
Susan Steinberg,
In favor.
Dan Devine. Dan Devine. Welcome back.
Approve.
Okay. Jeannie D'Onofrio,
In favor.
John Keller,
In favor.
and Kevin O'Keefe. Kevin?
I'm in favor.
Okay. So the resolution passes with 10 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstain, and 0 non-titled.
Claire,
Alexandra.
I believe when there's stipulations, if you would send it to us, we will sign the stipulation so that you will have it as a record that the licensees sign the conditional approval. And if you'll send it to me, I'll get it back to you just as soon as, one day I'll turn it around and send it back to the community planning board.
Okay, is that necessary, Jesus? Because we just went through them here.
Okay. Well, if this community planning board doesn't want some community planning board wants the applicant to sign. So if you don't want it, we're fine with it. If you do, more than happy to sign.
Got it.
Yeah, he's correct. We used to do that. I don't think that we've been doing that lately. But we have one of those forms. If this committee wants to send one to Mr. McGrath for his signature, we can whip that up.
Okay, just the understanding is that we're not open now, and I don't know when we're going to be able to staff up, but we will advise the board once we're going to open up, and then it will be open to the public.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, oh, Alexandra.
So we need somebody to write the resolution.
I can do it.
Okay.
Great. Okay, thank you, Kevin, for being here this month and walking us through and for committing to being a good neighbor as the future unfolds. We wish you the best in getting the staff to come in, and I look forward to visiting the Water Club again.
Thank you very much, all. And just noting that Richard Dean, the controller, was also on this Zoom. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye. Okay, next up is a new on-premises license for Sitara Indian Restaurant, doing business as Sitara Fine Indian Cuisine at 152 East 46th Street, sorry. Do we have a representative from that establishment here this evening?
I believe Sharma Tarath is here. If you can unmute yourself.
Mute. Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Great. Can you walk us through your application, please?
Sure. The volume is so low. I don't know if it's my phone because I'm using my phone to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I could hear you, but not that loud. I hope you could hear me well.
Yes, we can hear you well. If you could just walk us through your application, that would be appreciated.
Okay. The restaurant before was the bar restaurant. It's fine Indian food, and they operated for the past 20 years, and they went out of business because of the pandemic, and they decided to walk away from the business. So I'm reopening the business and I'm applying for the same exact type of license. I would be open from 11 to 11, and whatever I'm going to do exactly what they were doing before. Fine Indian food.
Okay, thank you very much. I actually don't really have any questions, so I'll open it to members of the committee. If anyone has any questions for Sharma, raise your hand, please. I guess I can ask, so this is you're located in a residential building?
Yes.
And have you had any interaction with folks who live above the restaurant, talking to them?
I met two of the guys who live upstairs, and they were very kind, and they were happy that the business is opening back because they said the food was the best there, and they hoping to have the same quality of food again.
Sounds good. Thank you. Seema, I see your hands raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, is this the former location of their bar?
The location is 152 East 46th Street. It's between 3rd Avenue and Lexington.
Yeah, no, I know the address. Okay, so do you know if that's where the restaurant, their bar was?
Sorry, there's a second location on 55th Street between Lexington and 3rd Avenue again. That's their second location. That's still existed right now.
Okay, so their bar is not associated with your restaurant at all? Can you
No,
hear me,
not at
or?
all. My restaurant
Okay.
is going to be Sitara Indian Restaurant and Bar.
Okay.
Right. Who was the previous tenant of the space that you're taking over?
His name was Manik. He had two other partners. They run many restaurants in New York City.
What was the name of the restaurant?
It was the Bar One. The Bar One.
Okay, so it was their bar. Okay, all right. I understand. Thank you.
Jeannie?
Okay, thank you. Hello. Shoma, I see in your application that you are a principal or you owned or manage other establishments. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I run the Green Door Restaurant and Bar in 600 West 57th Street for 12 years. It's a dive bar, has a big pool table, and it was, it's not too much food, like finger food, sliders, but it's more of a bar, more of a dive bar. I ran that business for 12 years and it's still existing right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any more questions for this establishment?
I'm sorry about the volume. My volume is so low on my phone, I have to just look very closely.
Worries. I'm sorry, I might be speaking too low as well, but I was just asking if anyone else had any questions, or if there aren't any questions, there might be a motion that someone on the committee wants to put forward.
Motion of no objection.
I'll second that.
Okay, so Susan made the motion of no objection, and thank you, Anton, for seconding it. Now we will just go through the template that Alexandra has put together and write this resolution together quickly. So Alexandra, whenever you're ready, if you could just pull that up, and we can work on it. Thank you. So we are writing the resolution of no objection. The establishment, as he mentioned, is an Indian fine dining restaurant. Oh yes, Mr. Tarath.
Yes.
So we have your hours listed as 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and we just need to confirm the days of the week. Is this 7 days a week that you will be open?
Yes, it's going to be 7 days a week.
Okay, so we'll add that. We can say like, whereas the previous tenants had a similar operation.
Yes, I'm going to function the same exact hour. It's still, it used to be 11 to 11 also.
No worries. Thank you. And then no members of the committee had any comments. And that looks good to me. Does anyone have anything else to add? You can raise your hand. And since it's a short meeting or a short agenda, let's just do the roll call again for this vote, if you don't mind, Alexandra.
Yeah, 1 second.
Take your time.
Okay, I'm gonna call everybody's name and please tell me how you vote on this resolution. Claire Brennan.
In favor.
Charles Fernandez.
In favor.
Paige Judge.
In favor.
Anton Mellner.
In favor.
Seema Shah.
In favor.
Susan Steinberg.
In favor.
Dan Devine. Dan Devine. I'll come back to Dan. Jeannie D'Onofrio.
In favor.
John Keller.
In favor.
Kevin O'Keefe.
In favor.
And Dan Devine, are you there? Dan? Okay, maybe Dan dropped off for a second. In that case, the resolution passes with 9 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstain, and 0 not entitled.
Thank you, Alexandra, and thank you, Mr. Tarath, for being here and answering our questions. The board office will send you a copy of our resolution once it passes the full board. But we wish you the best of luck and look forward to visiting your restaurant.
Thank you very much. I hope to see you guys, and I hope to do the same job that was done before, fine Indian food.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Our third agenda item is a class change of an existing license for Rohova LLC, Rohova, doing business as Sahara's Turkish Cuisine at 513 2nd Avenue. And Ellen, I see Ms. Lee, you're here and unmuted, ready to go. Do you mind just walking us through the application?
Sure. Rojava LLC, they have a beer and wine license that was issued 2 years ago. We were before the board. This is our 4th time already. We're back on 2015, 2016, 2017. The applications were approved, but we were not able to pick up the license because of the certificate of occupancy being old version, and the SLA wanted the newer version. And once we received the letter of completion, SLA gave us the beer and wine license. Sahara's Turkish cuisine was established back in 2001 under one ownership, and this Mr. Ayhan joined back in 2008, and since then he's been running the establishment. He was one of the manager there in the beginning, and later on took over the business and applied under his own name in 2015. And I had it 1 second. Okay, they're open 7 days from 11 a.m. to 12 midnight currently, but prior their closing hours were always 2 a.m. for every day, 7 days. They have a total of 13 tables and 62 seats. There's an L-shaped bar. Right as you walk in, you're gonna see a dining area and then the bar and then the kitchen in the rear. To the left is 2 restrooms, one ladies' room and men's room. And downstairs is the full-size, same size basement used for storage and prep area. It's 20 by 70, about 1,400 square feet per each floor. The bar size is 11 by 6, 11 by 6.5. It's an L-shaped bar with 7 stools. Right now, we're asking for 12 midnight, but hopefully, eventually, hopefully in the future, he wants to go back to 2 a.m. But I don't know if it's doable during the with limited sales. We're looking for 1 a.m. at this time. We're asking if we look forward to extend the hours. We'll come back to the board and ask for an extension later on. But at this time, they do close at 12 midnight, but we're asking for 1 a.m. closure.
Sounds good. So just to be clear, this is obviously a well-established establishment, but it had always been beer and wine only, and now?
It always had full liquor, always. Okay. But because they were having such a hard time in 2015, 2016, 2017, after 3 applications, when the SLA said, I'll give you beer and wine if you get the letter of completion. That's when we applied for the beer and wine only and got the beer and wine license. But now they're almost there to get that letter of no objection from the Department of Buildings, where they'll be able to get that full liquor and go back to the original full liquor they always had.
Okay, thank you. I see Jeannie has her hand up.
Thank you, Claire. Just one question. Can we just change the hours of operation now so you don't have to go back? Instead of 12, change it to 1 or 2, and then you're set when you need it, so you don't have to come back?
I love to. It's just that he's not open till after midnight at this time, but he looks forward to. So if 2 a.m. is doable, this way we don't have to come back to the board again later on, because he's always operated at 2 a.m. prior to the pandemic since 2001.
I like that idea. Yeah, thank you, Jeannie. Even though you might not be open until that time currently, I think that it provides the opportunity when he's ready to stay open until that time. Paige.
Yes, a little bit of history. Back around 2015, 2016, 2017, we had requested that you come in. You didn't get your liquor license or any changes because you ignored us, and that went on for quite a while. It was not only 1, 2, 3, 4 months, it was almost 6 months, or if not longer. So, and we notified you all the time that that was happening, and nobody was paying any attention to us. We didn't know whether you had changed ownership. We didn't know what was going on. So
It doesn't-
please keep in touch with us.
Yes, back in 2015, when there was a change of entire entity change from one ownership to another, where partnership fell apart and Mr. Ihan took over completely, the closing document took very long. So the first appearance we missed. The second, Mr. Park did attend in person back then, years back.
No. I went to all the meetings. I will tell you, because I actually am a patron of that restaurant and I wanted to succeed. So that was something that I was very cognizant of, and I was very annoyed that it wasn't happening.
I see, but okay. From here on out, if any changes, we're always here and we'll communicate and we'll respond. Okay.
Thank you, Paige, for that history. I wasn't aware, but that's good to know. And I appreciate Ellen being here tonight and being willing to respond to any future requests from our committee or from the community at large. So thank you both. Does anyone have a motion?
Motion of no objection. I'll second it. I'll second it.
And we'll give it to Anton, but thanks, John, as well. So motion of no objection to the class change that we're talking about here. Alexandra, did you have a resolution prepared for?
Yeah, 1 second.
Thank you. Great, thank you. So this is no objection.
And I believe you wanted to change the hours, correct?
Yes, please, to 2 a.m.
I think that's fine with us.
And is 7 days a week, correct?
It's always 7 days a week, yes.
So it's a Turkish restaurant. So I think that we can take out the line under, unless Paige, is there something that you would want to say in the whereas where it says like committee stipulations? Is there something that you want to say about?
I would like them to make sure that whether they're having internal problems, that the person who's in charge is aware that they must show up. They didn't get their liquor license because we said we objected to it, and the state liquor license listens to us. So that was the only reason they didn't get it. So I really feel that they have to be aware that no matter what their problems are, they must show up if they want us to change something.
So we could say like, whereas the establishment agreed to be responsive to the board office in the future.
Yes, I think that's good.
Thank you.
They have the best lamb shank.
What did you say?
They have the best lamb shank.
Ooh, I gotta try it.
Oh, it's really good.
I'm hungry, so I would rather not talk about lamb shank, but I'm drooling over here and hope to visit. Yeah, there were no questions from the community, and this looks good otherwise. Let's just do the roll call vote again on this.
Okay. Committee members, I'm going to go through the roll call. Please tell me how you vote on this resolution. Claire Brennan,
In favor.
Charles Fernandez,
In favor.
Paige Judge,
In favor.
Anton Malner,
In favor.
Seema Shah,
In favor.
Susan Steinberg,
In favor.
Dan Devine,
In favor.
Jeannie D'Onofrio,
In favor.
John Keller,
In favor.
and Kevin O'Keefe.
In favor.
So with that, the resolution passes with 10 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstain, and 0 not entitled.
Thank you, Alexandra, and thank you, Ellen, as always, for being here and being so thorough. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I look forward to the lamb shake.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. So that wraps up the renewals and general applications. As I did last month, I'm going to hand it over to Anton to continue the discussion on the open restaurants program because of my conflict of interest. But you all are in great hands with Anton, as you know, and I will let you take it away from here. Thanks again, Anton.
No problem. Has everybody received the resolution that CB1 passed regarding the open restaurants? Anybody have any comments about what they've said? I think it reflects some of the discussions we've had already. There were a couple of inconsistencies in there, but that didn't take away from the full gist of the resolutions. And the thing that I'd like to stress is that all community boards should be contributing to the open restaurant program and giving their opinions and their concerns and whatever else they might have on their minds, so that this program is, I shouldn't say all things to all people, but would satisfy most of the people most of the time, if I might paraphrase a great American. What I'd like to do is I'd like to take a shot at, and if anybody would like to help me, drafting out a resolution that I would like to present to at least our committee, and then to the land use committee, if they'd like to also participate in this, so that we have something to send to the powers that be in the government, the city council, so that we're heard. And further, the longer term thing on this is that if this program goes through and is acceptable to us and other community boards, that if a food establishment wants to have participate in the open restaurants, that the community board, like our discussion of liquor licenses, have a say in whether we favor it or not. And I think this would be very important for the community, because right now there appears to be a lot of pushback about the way the current program is being run by the Department of Transportation and other city agencies that have a hand in it. And I think we've talked about this a little bit in the past, and that the open restaurant program is good for the city, is good for the restaurants, but in terms of quality of life and streetscape, there are a lot of issues involved, and we would have to have, I would like to have our say in having these issues resolved. Among them, of course, is some of the things we discussed at the last meeting, which are the way the structures are built and safety of the roadway, private businesses on public property, and the lack of or inconsistent enforcement of the DOT. I'd like to hear your ideas.
Are we actually going to have a meeting with, what is it, the Land Use Committee?
I would like to invite them and have a meeting. Hi, Sandy. To get their ideas and to make this perhaps a joint resolution from both our committees to present to the CB6 board.
Sandy, has your committee discussed this at all, the open restaurants plan?
I see Jeannie has her hand up first, but if you don't mind, I will answer. It came to land use, and we actually passed a resolution in support of the text amendment. And the DOT gave a presentation. Actually, they've given presentations to various community boards, and the more information we hear about it, I think the more people do support this idea. I know there's a lot of concern about the existing system. And I think it's probably something that transportation, land use, and your committee should all meet and discuss, because it really is a transportation issue as well. It's taking up street space. But the rationale for passing the text amendment seemed it seemed very reasonable. It allowed for a more rational way to have a restaurant actually gain open space. And it took it out of the planning department and took it back into where it belongs, which is use of public space in the street. So we have had one presentation, but I know there should be more. And I'll let other people speak.
Okay. Jeannie?
I just have a couple of questions. I did read through the amendment, and I watched most of the community board meeting on this. I have a question about the timeline though. Have they passed the text amendment? The resolution's in January. The meeting was in August. So where are we exactly now? And what can we do at this point if it's already passed? That's one question. But the other point I want to make is I thought the resolution was excellent. It highlighted all the concerns that I could imagine, between spillover effects to structures, all of that you mentioned, Anton, and more. And I think that would be, if we were to do a template, if we needed to do one, if we wanted to do a resolution, that would be a good template. But I just don't know where we are in the process. Where is our strength behind this? Like, what can we do to support this? And if we do, where are we with this?
I think I had something on that. If you just bear with me a second, I can find it. According to the milestones, in the spring of 2022, completion of the design engagement process, marked by the release of design guidelines in spring of 22. And then summer, fall of 2022, a robust community and borough level engagement and outreach program will be set up for the sharing the design concepts in advance of the city rulemaking process. So I think right now we're in the spring of 2022. As far as I know, and I'll have to check it out, I'll have the board office also help me along with this, to find out exactly where the city stands on the situation with the design engagement process.
Okay, that's great. So there's plenty of time to add our voice, and anything else we want to add to what's already been stated in other resolutions. That's good.
Right. Just as an offside over here, I believe one of the design firms actually contacted the Danish embassy and to ask them for their ideas about designing outdoor cafes as they have in Copenhagen. And my daughter happens to work for the Danish embassy, and she was seconded to help this firm and give her ideas as to what the streetscape in Copenhagen has and what they had to do to get that the way the cafes are set up. And the background on that is that the Danes are very much against automobile transport. So it's a lot easier to do things like this there than over here. In any case, we have traffic, and this is one of the aspects that have to be addressed to make sure that whatever program is set up takes that into account. Especially, we see what's going on with, unfortunately, this Vision Zero has not been very successful. As we've seen on the Upper East Side, there have been a lot of situations where people have been killed, unfortunately, because of errant drivers. And we have also seen situations where cars have driven into some of these structures or outdoor cafe setups. So I think it's very important that this be addressed as well when we talk about the overall aspects of this this program. Paige, did you have your hand up?
No.
I do. Sandy.
Yes. Sandy, okay.
I just Googled, and this was published at 7 o'clock today. City Council vote sets stage for permanent outdoor dining program. And it says the City Council passed legislation Thursday, I'm gathering today, that sets a stage for city lawmakers to create a permanent outdoor dining program. So that seems hot off the press that the City Council has authorized the program to go forward, but I'm assuming there's still a lot of actual design and implementation.
Right. Authorizing the program is fine, but the devil is in the details, and designing the program that is amenable to the most to a good program. Okay.
I know certainly, I'm sorry, but when the DOT did come to land use, there were a lot of questions about what the program would be like and how much how much they would come to the community board. And some of the other concerns were context. For instance, our neighborhood is quite different than, Little Italy or Chinatown. So all those things we let them know about, but at that point there was no real feedback or answer to it. So I guess, I think certainly in terms of timing, we probably, if we want to participate in the design process, that now is the time to write a resolution requesting that. In terms of the details of the process, I think that's all going to be worked out. But if we wanted to put together something that suggests that, our three committees really want to work with the DOT to develop this, that it might be timely to do that now.
Do you think it'd be worthwhile to bring the DOT in again? I think, when was the last time you saw them? Was in last June?
I think it was October.
October. So this is 5 months later.
Right.
So the process is 5 months down the road. I think perhaps maybe they could make a presentation to a joint committee meeting between yourselves and ourselves, and to see where they stand right now in light of the City Council approving the concept, and how far they are into the design process and how we could contribute to that.
I think that's excellent. I don't think they'll do it. just because every community board in the entire city is looking for this information currently. I mean, I think it would be very timely if we could ask for that and outline some of our concerns. So I guess in response to Jeannie's comments, we may actually need to move forward pretty quickly.
So is it the consensus that we should move forward with at least a draft resolution between Sandy, your committee, and our committee to be presented to the full CB6 board to go forward to the appropriate city agencies, DOT in particular?
Our committee meets Monday. And certainly if there was a draft resolution, we could discuss it. I think Jesus may have more input on that, but it could be just outlining. I mean, we may not be able to be as detailed as the CB1, but at least to say we want to participate in the process.
Right.
And you know, it may be harder to agree on all the particulars that CB1 actually put into their resolution, but at least to ask for that kind of participation.
Okay. Well, perhaps I can do this. I can just get up some bullet points, take some of the points from CB1 and perhaps meet with you and the rest of your committee on Monday. That would be fine with me. How does the other member of the committees feel about that?
Yeah, could you let us, I guess we could find the time and everything on the webpage. When do you meet on Monday?
7 o'clock.
7. So we can just show up as attendees or something. That'd be great. Yeah.
And actually, transportation then meets at the first Monday of the month. So they also would have a meeting prior to full board and could also, you know, potentially weigh in. I guess we'd have to run all this past Kyle or some.
Yeah. Yeah. But, now we're getting a lot of people involved, and it's
cabal.
It's involving. Yeah, three committees. That's.
Yeah, it's a lot of, and I mean, theoretically, it really is. Transportation is. DOT normally comes to transportation.
Yeah. Okay, well, I have no problem attending your meeting on Monday. I'll try to bullet point something and get it through the board office to you guys, and then we can discuss it at least between the two of our committees. And if any of our committee members would like to also join, I would certainly appreciate that.
Great, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any further comments? Okay. Claire, you're on.
Thank you, everyone. That sounds like a good plan to me. I think I can say that. So thank you, Sandy and Anton. That sounds good. So now, in terms of my report, I didn't have anything prepared, sorry, or maybe not sorry, because we'll get out of here a little quicker. And I don't have any old or new business, but if someone wants to bring something up, you could raise your hand now. Otherwise.
I do. I'm just trying to figure out how to raise my hand at SEMA. Sorry.
No worries, SEMA. No worries.
I was just wondering if we could have like a quick discussion this meeting or next meeting on how we think the live transcripting is going as it relates to the resolutions. So we don't have to have this discussion right now. Maybe we can add it to the agenda for next month, because I, for one, find it just a bit awkward, but I know we're trying to, solve for other issues. So maybe we can have that discussion next week or next month.
That is a great point. And yeah, we were kind of just rolling with it, but I think that we can definitely put that on the agenda for next month. Definitely. Thank you for bringing that up. John?
Yeah, I just, follow up on Seema's question by, is there any further word from the governor's office regarding extending the state of emergency related to, open meetings laws? Because that would directly relate to what Seema's talking about.
I think that there hasn't been, last time I heard anything, which was like a week ago probably, and it is set to expire. So John, as you mentioned, potentially our next meeting will be an in-person meeting based on the schedule of what this emergency order was. There is a chance that the governor might come in at the final hour and extend it longer, but I haven't heard any updates on that. I guess you're right that it would change if it's not extended, but I think that we should have a discussion about it next month. Regardless, thank you, Seema, for bringing that up. And I'm sorry, I don't have any more information, but that does bring me to our next meeting, which I just want to remind you all, it's actually not going to be the last Thursday of the month. It's the second Thursday of the month. Alexandra sent out a poll and folks responded with their preference, but I think the most people said that Thursday, March 24th, the week before that the meeting was supposed to be, is when worked best for everyone. So we'll be meeting next month on Thursday, March 24th, not Thursday, March 31st. And if someone can't make it because of a previous obligation, you won't be like penalized for it. I understand that we have a set schedule and I needed to change it for this month, but I appreciate everyone's flexibility in advance. Is there any, Alexandra?
Yeah, so in terms of the next meeting, yeah, the office will keep everyone updated in terms of the venue for that meeting. As was mentioned, if the ability for us to stay on Zoom would expire, it would expire March 16th. So we will keep you updated, of course, in terms of whether this next meeting will be on Zoom or in person, but we wanted to just give the heads up just in case it will have to be in person. So.
Thank you. So to be determined on that, we'll see. Is there any other old or new business? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
John, thank you. And we don't need a second for that. So if there are no objections, we will adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anton, and thank you, Claire. That was very cool.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.